drugstore or anywhere they could go to get medicine. So what they would do is they would have a man or a woman that would come in on a medicine cart. They would bring their medicine cart around to the different towns, and they would have people come to them say, oh, I'm sick with this, oh, I need this, and they would sell them the medicine that they need. Well, a lot of people, after being told what they could use, decided to grow their own medicine or go out in the woods and get it themselves. Things like potatoes, onions, and eggs. Now, potatoes are used for fever. They would cut the potatoes up and put them in socks and wear them to bed, and it would pull the fever out through their feet. Onions are used kind of the same way, except they're sliced up and put on the chest to relieve mucus and stuff. Since pneumonia was such a bad disease back then, they would need something to pull the mucus out and help them get better, so they would use onions. Eggs are used for swelling and inflammation. So if you crack your head and you're swelling really bad, or you get a big bruise on your arm, you just crack an egg over your arm and put a cloth over it, and it would take care of the swelling. Now, apple cider vinegar is very smelly, but what they would use it for is it's an antibacterial. So if you had a stomach bug or the flu, you would just get a big old glass of this and have it for breakfast every morning. And then they would use something also very, very smelly. It's called an aspidity bag. An aspidity bag was used to ward off what they thought was evil spirits that were bringing sickness around. But actually, it wasn't. What it was doing is the main ingredient they use in an aspidity bag, along with garlic, cloves, ginger, is a plant called asafoetida. And asafoetida grows wild around here. It's just a poofy yellow flower, and they would dry out the root, ground it up, and put it in the bag, and wear it around their necks every day to school. Take this aspidity bag, and they would fill it full of all the herbs, and they would put it around their necks and around their kids' necks, and they'd wear it to school. Now, think about it. Back then, guess how often they took showers or baths? They didn't even have showers. Guess how often they took baths? Maybe once every couple months. And they would all share the same bathtub. So imagine how clean they actually got. Yep. So they would wear these bags every day to school. They would get hot and sweaty, and I'm sure they smelled great. Well, the kids didn't like wearing these bags to school because it made them stinky, and they were afraid they were going to get made fun of. So they would take them off and hide them in the woods on their way to school, and then just put them back on before they got home. And you know what they got? A butt whooping and sick. So, because they took it off and they ended up getting sick because they didn't listen to their mom and dad. Well, then it still wouldn't work, because as you're wearing this bag, it's bumping against your chest and it's swaying around the air, and all the herbs inside it are kind of powdery, and they would poof out while you were wearing it all day. And so you'd be breathing in the antibiotic all day. So if you had it covered up, it wouldn't really work. And this actually does work. My grandfather grew up wearing these. His whole family wore them. And my mom, last year, she was getting sick, and she was the medicine lady, right? So she was wearing this, talking to all the schools, and in 2 days she was completely better. Yep. And I have one more thing to talk to you guys about. Like I said, people were very superstitious, and they did a lot of crazy stuff. Thank you. Just because they didn't know any better. So they thought if you were a person who got sick a lot, it's because you had bad blood. Okay? So, which is really weird. They would take and they would bleed you out. Not all the way, but they would try to get rid of the bad blood so your body would make good blood. better blood. Which really didn't work because cuts and stuff get infected, which it didn't work anyways. So somebody was like, I wonder what a good alternative to this is. Leeches. They would cover you in leeches and let the leeches suck all the bad blood out of you. Well, as leeches eat the blood, they get fat and poofy. But leeches are kind of like goldfish. They don't know when they're full. So they would just keep eating and eating and eating, and if you didn't take them off, they would explode.
Now that'd be awesome.
That would be so nasty.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Now, of course, the leeches didn't work, and a lot of time it made them even more sick because leeches live in swamps, in rivers, and streams, and a lot of time bacteria would also live in those swamps and streams. So they would put the leeches on, and then you would get the bacteria from the swamps and streams, and it would make you even worse.